Hi fam, it's Dylan's mum Deborah. This is Dyl Friends.
It gives you a back rub and says, going well, Brian. It's special.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Just keep showing up and find a way.
Cam was so nervous he couldn't swallow water.
Handed him a sheet of paper with 6 names and said, "Chief, we've got to cut these 6 blokes."
Wow, shut up. I've just been barbed by a stingray, mate.
I'm just yelling at him, you saved my life, you saved my life, you saved my life. Thank you.
I spent the last, I think it was a couple of weeks in jail. The deepest, darkest moments often bring about our biggest highs.
Q, how am I, bro?
I'm well. Happy to be here.
Bro, congratulations.
Thank you.
It is... I feel like it's been a month since this whole thing. But you're just saying there's been a week?
Just about a week,
It's crazy. Has it been a blur?
It has. It's been a long week for me. There's been plenty of partying and not much sleep, but it's been a lot of fun. And it's been good to be able to, spend a lot of time with the lads as well.
How do you go with the partying stuff? I can imagine I'd be good for the first night, and after that I'd go missing straight away.
I'm no good. I was saying this before, I'm not really a massive alcohol guy, just in general. So I've been fighting a losing battle the last week, but I'm keen to actually go to Bali tomorrow, so I'm keen to just kick the feet up and chill out for a few days.
Bali's the best, bro. I'm going in a few weeks too, so I'll have to. Maybe we'll stay over. We'll link up.
Yeah,
over there.
definitely. Let's
that'd be good.
Finn's Beach Club was saying.
I on footy trips. This is embarrassing, but when I was younger, I'm sure you're very confident in yourself now, and you don't have to put on an act. But I used to pretend that I loved partying, and I'd just be so tired, and I was in Thailand once on a footy trip and actually had to come home early because I was I just left. I was like, no, I can't fucking keep up with these blokes anymore.
I'd be doing the same thing. I wouldn't be able to last in those back in the day with those footy trips. No way.
Who does now? Is there any of the boys that just enjoy having fun? Who's been sort of best on in this period?
Plenty. I feel like it's pretty. Bruzzy's one of the best to do it. He's just I just love that man. He's just a bundle of fun. He brings the energy. Brings people along with him. His girlfriend Ashley's lovely as well, so he's probably one of the best. Guinea always goes. He just goes too hard, then he just gasses himself out. So people don't know how to. I'm very much like a methodical drinker.
I think I'm like him.
Yeah,
I'd go too hard, then I just go home.
Out? Yeah, straight away. I play the long game. I'm in it for the long haul.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm in bed by 12, as my audience knows. Always in bed by 12. That's my rule. Hey, again, incredible. It's such a honour to have you in, honestly. With the grand finals, I speak about it a lot. I love grand final day more than anything. It's nearly a different game to footy. And I say that in the biggest sense. AFL's a thing, and then they've got grand final day. They're two different sports. What's the reflections of the day? Just off the top of your head, have you watched the game back yet? Have you?
I actually haven't watched I haven't sat down and dedicated a couple of hours, which I should do, shouldn't I? But it's been on on the Sunday after the game. It was on Mad Monday. It was on in the background. So I've watched quarters and bits and pieces, but it's all a bit of a blur, to be honest. Man, all I remember is it just being an unreal game.
Yeah.
Just as a neutral and a fan of football in general. I just think that was one of the better games I've been part of. The standard was unbelievable. You got to tip your hat to Brisbane. They've just got some moments. I just think of a couple of Zach Bailey's goals, stuff like that. Just big moment goals where it was just far out. This is going to be a good game. So yeah, it's all a bit of a blur, but it's a fond memory, definitely.
It's funny what you say with that, because in most grand finals, especially of the late, they've sort of been, you could tell who's going to win by half-time, quarter time and stuff. And this game, I always look for moments in games, and I speak about this all the time, those tiny little things that might, you look back and go, fuck, that was huge. And it might not necessarily be something that you see on TV, but might be in the inner sanctum. So I want to ask you about that later. But that goal that Bailey kicked, the one where he went on the boundary, came around.
Yeah.
I watched that going, fuck, that could be a...
It was my fault.
Really?
I was flat, yeah. Because I tried to get a handball receive from the back of Coxie. And then, I actually don't know the technicalities of this, so I'd be curious to see your thoughts.
Yeah.
So I'm running around the back of him trying to get a handball receive, because a little cheeky touch, why not?
Well, is it cheeky touch and also just give the ball to the distributors, Coxie?
Yeah, that's what I like to say. We'll use that one. And then, so Bailey was running behind me, obviously trying to man me up. And then Coxie didn't give it to me. And then Bailey saw that and then ran off and smothered it. And then it dribbled to Danaher. Then that was when I like ran in. I like sprinted at Danaher. And I actually came off second best. I was freaking rattled for a few seconds there. And then next minute, Bailey scored this crazy goal. So I was fuming at myself, to be honest, because that was half my fault.
Isn't it crazy when with that, like what goes through your head at that moment? You just got to move on, don't you? Like straight away?
Yeah, well, I was just a bit shook because I was kind of, I don't know what my plan was when I ran into Danaher. Like that dude is massive.
He's huge.
And I just I'm one of those people, if I make a mistake, like I will go 110% that next player because I get so angry. I'm so angry at myself. So I didn't even have any care for my own sake. I just ran in, like there's a photo, I run in with my head. I don't even know what I'm doing. It's a bit of a lonely place, I feel like, when you make a mistake like that in such a big game. But we're so good at coming together and everyone's really positive in the back line. So you make a mistake, it's almost encouraged and we just go, all right, well, windscreen wipers, what's the next moment? So it's one of those moments and it's a long game. So
you have to though,
you have to get over it.
You have to be able to get over it.
You have to.
That I think so many players struggle to not move past mistakes. Like I didn't even know that that was a mistake technically for you because realistically at the end of the day, your role is to be running and defending.
Yeah,
so
it's not smart play.
It is a smart play.
Yeah.
But you do move on. Like, is that something that did you stew over it? Because it didn't seem like you did at all. Like your cool, calm collectedness on that day, I was so. I don't want to say impressed because it is a part of your game now, but to be able to do it on the big stage, basically what I'm asking is, did you feel as cool, calm, collected as you looked?
Did I feel? No.
Yeah?
Nah, I feel like at points, as I said, it's such a high quality game. So the pressure was there. It wasn't even perceived pressure. The pressure was there. So at moments, I definitely felt I had a couple of moments where I probably had maybe a second or two more time. But when you got Charlie Cameron on your hammer, it's get that thing as far away from me as I can. So there was definitely moments where, I got a little bit nervy, or you kind of almost look around and you go, wow, this is you kind of
you come in and out of the game a bit.
We talk about, just soaking everything in, and before the game to be able to just have a look around and see so many people in the stands.
Crazy.
Every now and then I'd have a look around, I don't know, when we kicked a goal or something, and I was like, man, this is freaking nuts. What am I doing? It's like a dream, genuinely. Yeah. But yeah.
What other moments stick out to you in terms of even just your teammates? Is there any other parts where you're just fuck, that was super important for us on the day?
There's a few. Obviously, I'd say the two obvious ones were Steele and Geordie's goals. Mm-hmm. They were just...
And the handball.
And Nick's handball, yes. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
didn't get enough
that
talk.
Was just
He's such a freak. He literally said that he just heard Geordie's voice and just popped it.
Is he humble, Nick?
Yeah.
It annoys me how humble he is.
It annoys me too. I try to get him to talk some shit sometimes because I'm on the field I know he talks shit.
Yeah.
He's a very good trash talker, one of the best I've seen. And he backs it up. So what are you going to say to him?
Nothing.
But yeah, off the field, he's as humble as they come. Humble as they come. But yeah, those two moments, Steele's goal, I've said this a few times, I and a few people have, I didn't know Steele had that leg in him, and he just absolutely banged it. So I was right behind him. So to be part of that moment was pretty cool. And then I feel like Pendle's that whole last 5 minutes, just went into just his experience. He's so cool, calm, collected, and kind of just controlled our entire team really, and the way we wanted to play, and dictated our ball movement. And the people don't know about things like that, but yeah, Pendles is just one of the best at directing and understanding the time in the game, what we need from our ball movement, where people need to be, and he just sets people up so well.
Is there obviously there would be, but certain strategies in a tight game that you go to in those moments, or was it still, because it was still so goal for goal, you couldn't really go into save the game, win the game, you had to just keep playing?
Yeah, well we can go, because we've been obviously under Fly the last 2 years. We've been practicing these different modes of gameplay. You see us when we're down 30
and
points
you're so good in
time.
that. Yeah,
we play this really aggressive game style and can score 5 or 6 goals quite easily. And then you've seen us, have stoppage after stoppage against GWS, and no one score anything in 5 minutes. So it's we've got these modes of gameplay that we can go into at any point, and we're pretty, for the most part, pretty confident when we do go into them that we can either control a game or get back in a game. And I think for points we had to get in and out of those different modes. You know, when we were down almost 3 goals at one point, we had to be a bit more aggressive, and then towards the end, we went into a controlled, which is just obvious footy.
It's funny when you say that, and I don't want people to sort of tune out of like how hard that is, because even like when the whole time I was playing footy, every team practices scenarios, right? Everyone does. And it's like that old saying, like, everyone's got a plan to get punched in the face. And you can know what to do. You can be at training and they say you're 5 points down, let's try and score. But when you're in the game, you've just played 3 quarters and there's 5 minutes left and you don't have a coach out there blowing the whistle. Like, getting into that, and that's why it's been so impressive watching you guys play, because it's like, how the fuck do you actually recognise where you are, the time of the game? Obviously, there's the only thing you've probably got is someone putting a board up, like, to get into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I reckon it helps having people like, you know, the Pendleburys, the Howes, not even Jamie Elliott in the forward line. We have these kind of like pillar leaders in each line who can kind of take over and set people up where they need to be. And everyone just has like, we do a lot of work on that stuff. Whether it's, you know, our late game situations or end of quarter, like we speak about this stuff all the time. So it's kind of embedded in us now. It's part of our DNA. So yeah, I think those 2 reasons as to why they're kind of like why we kind of thrive in moments like that. Definitely.
Super interesting, man. I think like of late, it's easily been the best you've seen a team go into certain scenarios. It's hectic. And I know that you got Bolts there as well.
Yeah.
Does he play a big role in that stuff too? Because I remember when we were at Carlton, obviously this is what I was talking, it didn't work as much in terms of game, but he was so big on scenario training.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's all the coaches are like they're and Bolts has been great in that regard.
What is he? Is he midfield?
He's a backline.
Backline. So
I've worked quite closely with Bolts. We love Bolts. But
he's a very quirky character.
He is. Well, towards the end, I was that on him because throughout the finals, I always spray myself before I go out because I always look good, smell good, feel good, play good. That's
I was wondering what you meant. Spray myself.
With cologne.
Yeah.
And he bought onto it, and I started bringing in my cologne that I actually made, Intelligence 3, and the whole backline we'd all sprayed on ourselves before we walked out. So like he was buying into the, you know, a bit of the culture, and I feel like
Did he wear it himself?
Yeah, he wore it himself.
That's so
good.
good.
He's a weapon. So I'm that on him. What was the actual question?
I can't even remember. I like the way we went with that. Hey, just on that intelligence with that, is that like gettable for anyone? Can we get that?
No, so it's at the moment it's just a one of one bottle, and I think it's going to be. I'm going to like frame it or something because that's my baby. That didn't
so that was
well.
So you made one bottle of it, and that was the one you're using for all the boys.
Yeah,
and
so
Bolts.
The final series, that was like my scent of the final series that I was wearing, and that in the grand final, the prelim, and the first final that the whole backline was wearing as well. So it's a pretty
that's fucking incredible, man.
It's a pretty cool piece. But yeah, there's potential. Hopefully, in like my vision is to eventually get something going in that space. So
do your own cologne or something.
That's the dream. Yeah, definitely. I'm really passionate about that whole like personal hygiene.
Your aura is very very strong.
Thank you.
As soon as the big Q stick came up the studio, we could feel his presence and scent it.
And smell it. Yeah. I am a serial oversprayer, but
that was actually my question is, what is the proper amount and where do you spray?
I have no idea. And
okay, so you just do your own thing.
I feel like this is very controversial. Like people have their own beliefs, but so I've seen people say you can't spray on your skin. You're meant to spray on your top, and then I've heard people say the opposite.
Well, I've heard people say you spray it into the air and you.
I do both. I go neck, top, wrist. And then maybe another one for good measure. To be fair though, it depends on the cologne.
Yeah, if it's a strongy or
like if they're nicer ones, often you only need 2 or 3. But if they're, like a David Beckham or something, then you might need a couple more sprays.
I agree with you. I'm probably an under sprayer. I like to just not be too float under. And I've heard the saying like one on the wrist, and I do that. See, I've heard that, and then one there, one there.
Apparently, doing that.
Well, what the fuck would that actually do? Like, really, when you think about it, it's so dumb.
Is that true? Is it not true? I don't know. So
we should look into this.
Yeah, well, if I'm doing my own cologne, that's probably something that's worthwhile looking into, isn't it?
We should. Well, if there's anyone out there that has a cologne industry or something, we should definitely hit up with
Yep.
with
message
Quaynor.
me.
Yeah, and get
DM
into
me. We can have a chat.
We'll chat. And I'll be in that as
Yeah,
well.
we're in.
No,
This is
because Darcy doesn't
road to
wear
millions.
deodorant, so he should. He
I can smell you from over there.
Hey, on the Beckham thing, I know like we're going way off topic, but have you seen that?
No.
Have you not seen Beckham,
No.
the Netflix series?
No, I haven't.
Holy shit,
I
man!
reckon that would be unreal.
It
I haven't even
is.
heard about it.
It is.
Where have I been?
You've been doing way fun of
Yeah,
things.
true.
You've been
I've
winning
had no
premierships.
time
I've
to
just
be
been at
watching
home.
Netflix.
I've just been at home
Yeah.
and just watching Netflix. But it is
Good.
the most incredible doco,
Really?
like 4-part doco I've seen.
Cool.
What this man did reminds me a lot of yourself for like not just
flattering.
on the field but off the field.
Yeah, he's an icon.
Look, I
Oh,
I don't really follow soccer. Like Manchester United, he fell out with the coach, went to Real Madrid, then went to LA Galaxy, took equity in the it's just
he's
the
a weapon.
coolest thing I've ever seen.
and
Like
he's a
what
freaking
is
rooster as well.
yeah,
Just a
mate,
lord. Just a lord.
definitely get on that.
Yeah, I'll have to.
All right, we'll get on that. Get on the how to actually spray stuff. But
Yeah,
I seriously
that's-
reckon if Collingwood supporter knew that, because the next thing I was going to talk about was I saw like a jumper sales of like the
Yeah.
premiership jumpers
How ridiculous were some of those numbers.
of the numbers. So I think Dacos went for like 70,000 or something.
Yeah.
If someone, I reckon the bloke that bought that would be buying your bottle of perfume if he knew.
Yeah.
that
Well,
was there.
I feel like people love a story.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty cool story behind that bottle of cologne, like definitely. So yeah, well, throw me a figure and we're gonna have a chat. We're gonna have a chat.
We'll talk. What was before we talk more about the granny, the lead up to it as well, and like the sadder stories of going into a granny, like players unfortunately miss.
Yeah.
I couldn't like we talk about backline, how important it is. How strong is your backline if a player like Noble unfortunately is missing out on the final, like a fair bit of the final series? Like I thought between him and yourself in terms of how important ball movement was, and unfortunately he misses out. Like that's how good the team was.
Yeah. It's
Like
I
he
mean,
starts in any team
Oh, yeah.
in that. Like
hands down. and like I said it on live television the week after he got dropped. Like I think we played like 83 games together in
Yeah.
a row. So like John, and he's one of my best mates. Like we're going to Bali together tomorrow. Like with a few of the lads. So like it was really tough to see him so flat. And he rides the highs and the lows of the team more than anyone. Like he just loves it. He loves the lads, and of course you want to be part of something so special. Like I feel like for him it would have been a pretty long month being kind of on the outer but in the inner.
yeah,
And I feel like we did as good of a job as you could do to make people feel included in everything. But the reality is there's only 23 people that can be picked on game day, and Fly has to make some freaking tough calls.
Oh,
like,
man.
Jesus Christ.
well, yeah. From someone who's probably been on the outer a bit more, like as you said, it's like you want to be a part of it, but you do know at the end of the day, like as hard as it is, you're not a part of it.
Yeah.
Like you are,
Yeah.
but you're not.
Yeah,
Like,
and I feel like as a backline, we've been pretty stable this year in regards to it's been a pretty consistent mix. So I think we all rallied around Johnny, and even Bill Frampton when he wasn't playing, and then
comes back
the footy
in
gods
with
always seem to
McStay.
bless
Fuck.
people. So
How was McStay after everything as well? Like with
I feel like I was very impressed with the way he went about it, because
his two teams that he's played for in the
I
grand.
know
like,
how crazy. Like it would have been. You couldn't script it much better, could you? And he was huge in that GWS final.
Yeah.
Like he was probably one of our best forwards, and looked super dangerous. So I was pretty flat. As a player, to bring his strengths to the table on grand final day, it would have been unreal to have him out there. But shout out to Bill Frampton. His time came, and he played a really important role for us.
Yeah, what's made out for that role? Because I think like a lot of people were quite harsh on Frampton on the day of stats wise not having a massive impact, but internally was that valued?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I feel like I'm not really a stat. I feel like we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really an accumulator, and so I've never really been massive on stats. His impact, I think the main thing for him was just to compete in the air and make Harris Andrews accountable, because he's a star.
Isn't it funny? Like we go into like this draft system and players go and you get rated and all this stuff, and you want to be the best player you can be, and then you get to the AFL and it's like, just fucking compete.
Yeah.
Like everything actually just goes out the
Doesn't
window.
matter.
Like you get the best players in the world, because it's a world game. Like we only played in Australia, best players in our country, And then the messages are so simple. It's like, just don't let Harris Andrews get the ball.
And it's a role that's, people...
So valued.
Yeah, people externally wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a massive, like, you're on him.
Yeah.
You got to do everything you can to stop. Like, it was just like a matchup that happened to work out, and big Dyl Frampton did what he needed to do. And in 20 years, he can say to his kids he had 25 and kicked 2 goals, and no one will even know, and he's still got the medallion around his neck. So.
100%. Nah, it's awesome. Just on the medallion stuff, there's been talk as well lately. It comes up every year about like players, when you win a flag, should you give them to the whole team or players who only played one game?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I reckon I was speaking about it with someone. I can't remember who it was, but I reckon there was another sport that they said that if you play a minimum of 18 games or something, or 15 games, you get a medal. Because I feel like that's logical. Yeah. Because that's... And like, even people like Johnny Noble and Tay Adams and Dan McSay, it's like, the reality is, like, obviously Dan and Tay probably would have got a medal if their bodies would have allowed them to. Yeah. So it's just like, how does, and we don't get to where we get to without them.
I know.
And there's so many other people in that bubble as well. But
everyone. I was debating with it. Me and Nick were talking about it before in the office, and it was almost like, I'm a little bit ruthless in the sense that, like, sometimes I think if you play on the day, you get the medal, and that's the hardest part, right? It's like, unfortunately, there is those stories of like, you play all season, you got to get it on the day. Yeah. But I think the clubs can personally do something instead of like everyone gets a ring or something like that.
Well,
but
that's a great point.
The club should do something, but I think the only medal if you actually win the flag.
Well, I think actually, on the note of rings, I think Darcy and Jamie were talking about organising some option to buy a ring. A premiership ring, which would be pretty cool.
Very cool.
Just a little bit of Americanness.
I love that. Even like a watch or something. Like,
yeah. Well, I went and bought myself a nice watch.
Did you? A little celebratory?
Yeah.
A rolly?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Talk us. Is that it?
Yeah, hopefully Mum doesn't see this, because I haven't told Mum yet, and she'll freaking crack it, because she didn't want you to
get one?
No, she just would feel sick.
You're allowed to buy yourself a present for winning a grand final.
I agree. And this is something that, it's a timeless piece. It's going to be with me.
Are we allowed to see it?
Yeah.
Wow, it's very shiny.
Yeah. A date just 41. So I was very, very lucky to...
Where did you get it? Did you get it from like...
Rolex, yeah.
Rolex. Yeah. And because normally you have to wait, don't you? Or did you get pushed up to the top?
No, there was a bit of a wait time. But I was very lucky.
So you preempted... the win.
In a sense. Well, I've been wanting one for a long time, and I'm a big believer in manifestation.
No, so am I. 100%, man. 100%.
I said at the start of the year, I got a whiteboard on behind my TV in my room.
I love this.
And I wrote at the start of the year, my 3 goals were make All-Australian team, which was close. And to be honest, at that point, that was quite far-fetched for me. Like, I thought that was quite far-fetched to be able to make it into the All-Australian team. So to even be in the squad was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
The second one was win a premiership. And then the third one was either start or invest in a business. So
3 are very close.
Yeah, we're and the year's not over yet, so we've got a bit of time to get something going. But this would have been on there, but I just didn't. If Mum came into my room and saw that, she'd probably cut shit. So
that's so good, man. That's unreal.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm very lucky, and I'm very fortunate to be able to buy one of these bad boys.
No, congrats. That's sick. Game day, we spoke about those moments, incredible moments. A few players, speaking of Bobby Hill, like I was lucky enough to play with him at the Giants when he was at the Giants.
Oh, yeah, true.
And can we just talk about me for a second?
Yeah, let's do it.
So
happily.
People say my career at the Giants was a failure, okay? I don't know if people say that, but they definitely...
I've never heard that,
No, they do. They do. My dad does. No, I'm joking. But when you're trying to get into a team behind Bobby Hill and Brent Daniels, like,
good luck to you.
How is that going to happen? Like, and you look at these guys now, and especially Bobby, like, he's always had that in him, and he was always going to achieve that. But incredible, like, what he's been able to do, right? He missed out on the 2019 granny with the Giants, so he didn't play in that.
Yep.
Suffered a really serious health battle with his testicular cancer that somehow people not forget about, but it's fucking amazing what he's been able to do.
Yeah.
About to have his second kid as well, and then comes through a final series. I reckon in the game against who was in one of the finals? He was incredible.
I think it was Melbourne.
Melbourne game. I think in one quarter, he like
the start of he kicked the first 2.
He set up 2 goals, but then gave off a few as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck. And lastly, I had him in the sweep here for Norm Smith, so I actually won.
Did you actually?
$300. Actually, Darcy, I owe you some money as well. I owe Darcy some money because he had first goal with Nick Dacos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair call with that one. Smart.
Well, we pulled him out of the Herald Sun.
Really?
Like we got him. So I got Dacos I got Dunkley and Bobby Hill. And Darcy, who'd you get?
Dacos and
Cam Rayner.
Oh, yeah.
So I owe you some money. I'll fix that up.
Yeah. Pay bets.
Anyway, so the question about that was just like on the day, were you surprised or were you just like, no, he's built for this?
Oh, I wouldn't say I was surprised because I've similar to you. I've known Bobby since we were both 17. We did the AFL Academy together.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And the first ever camp that we went on, we were rooming together. So that's how long I've known the Dazzler. But he's just a freak. Like I've seen it since then. Like the things he can do with the football and the way that he moves. It's like, I know this is a big rap, but it's like Cyril-esque at points. Like it's just like one of those goals where he faked right and then went back left. It's like I couldn't even do that with my right foot. Like how he makes it look that good is just ridiculous. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like he's one of those big game players and he loves playing in front of a crowd, and that's I think maybe part of the reason why I came to Collingwood, because we always have there's always a bit of a show to be put on.
He's
in front
built
of
for the big stage.
Oh,
like that
he's all for it.
I think one thing that gets underrated with him is not his speed, and it's actually how quick he can stop.
Oh,
like
it's like an NFL player.
It's like he's going to tear some people's ACLs like through careers.
I've had the role of playing on him a couple times, and even before Jitto, he almost took mark of the year on me. I still remember to this day I was that flat as well because luckily he bobbled it, but Dewey is like the way he can. You feel like I remember that this ball's come in. I'm like, I've bodied him out. How good's this? Just clunk. And then I just remember someone just like it was like a light little touch on my shoulder. Like he's so light.
Yeah.
And I'm looking up at the big screen after. He's like his knees on my shoulder and almost takes friggin' mark of the year on me. I'm like, bruh, you can't what? He's like Houdini. So yeah,
big congrats to him.
I'm so happy for him and his little family as well. It's pretty
beautiful. Cool. Speaking of yourself, we're talking about the manifesting before. So leading through the finals, what was your routine? Were you doing anything different? Were you just doing exactly the same? Like how were you feeling heading through the whole campaign, then into the grand final yourself? Like what was your prep?
Yeah, my prep was similar to what it's been all year. I feel like it's been working for me, and we were lucky enough to we stayed in Melbourne the whole final series, so there wasn't any travelling, which can kind of make you like stuff up your routine a little bit. So yeah, I kept things as cruisy as possible. I usually go back to my mum's house for dinner once a week or once every couple of weeks. I still did that. Went to a friend's house every Wednesday for dinner as well. So I just kept things as normal as I could. I go to the same cafe every morning at game day. I still did that on Granny Day. So yeah, I feel like for me it was just, although it's such a massive occasion, I didn't want to treat it any differently in regards to my prep, because I'm pretty big on having strong prep and feeling really good when you're going into a game that you've ticked every single box that you need to.
What about the boot choice? I know you've been running the pinkies.
Yeah.
How consistent are the pink? When did they come in throughout the year?
Yeah, the pinks. So I was in the Tiempos early on.
Yeah. And then you went, were they vapors?
They're Mercurials.
Mercurials.
Yeah, and I was slipping a lot in the Tiempos. And my physio was like, I would love to see you in the Mercurials. And I looked at all the colorways, and I've never really been a bright boot guy, but I feel
they're
like
distracting sometimes.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They've just never. I don't know. There's been too much of pink. People when you wear pink boots or yellow, they go, look at you, And I used to care about that stuff, and now I actually couldn't give two shits. I'm like, if I like them, I'm wearing them.
Mate, they look good on you.
Thank you. So yeah, I had a yellow pair, a white pair, and a pink pair, and I was like, you know what, stuff it. I'm going with the pinks.
They're so fresh, man.
And a lot of people loved them. Like I remember seeing signs after every game saying, "Can I have your boots?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, I only got 2 pairs of these. I can't give you one. I haven't got that many, but they did me well. And I ran through like probably I don't know, 6 or 7, 8 pairs by the end of the year. So there's a few just sitting there. Maybe some people will be able to get their hands on them at some point.
Wow, look at this. What was your role on the day?
My role in the day, it was pretty not
Do you just
nothing.
play as
because
do you just look at who you're going to play on, or they play on you?
Well, we play a real system defence.
Yeah.
And what we've done in the past against Brisbane is not do that. And I've had direct matchups like Charlie Cameron's got me a couple times now, and he's an absolute star. So I don't really enjoy playing him too much, but
I think anyone would.
No, it's scary stuff. But I think. Yeah, our plan going into the game was to be a bit more of a system base and do what we do against every other team, and just whether it's Murph playing on Charlie Cameron for a moment in time, we trust our system and our roll around to kind of cover for that. And so that's why I got really nervous when Murph went down with that concussion.
Because that
I was
can
like,
stuff.
Oh shit, here we go. Like, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to have to play it again, and I reckon the next quarter, I lined up on him for one centre bounce, and he kicks a goal off they got a centre bounce clearance. I went up to take a mark. He stayed down, and then the ball dribbles to him, kicks a goal. I'm like, oh please, not this again. Like, when you get a bit of head noise with that stuff.
I live with that.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit there, but yeah, my role was just to kind of do what I've been doing all year, which is kind of more that intercepting stuff and turning up on
Your
ground level.
marking's been unreal, man.
Thank you. Yeah, marking's been a big part of my game since I was a kid, because I used to be like tall for my age. So I used to be a key.
Yeah.
I used to be a ruck for a bit when I was like 13, 14, 15, yeah. And then I just didn't grow and everyone else did. So then I had to kind of adapt my game.
Yeah, and it was built more around like a tall playing sort of thing.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like people always think I'm taller than what I am. Like
Man, we had this discussion before. You're 180.
180.
That you look like we were debating. I thought you were like 190.
Yeah, people think I feel like that's because of that stuff that I play. Maybe the way I play is a bit unique for someone of my height. But yeah, I've been blessed with some big hands. So shout out Dad for the big hands. He's giving me those genetics.
The pre-game with Fly, what do you remember from that? Like, was there any theme around the grand final, or was it more so just we've been here, we know what we're doing, we just got to go out and enjoy it? Yeah,
I think Fly, what I really remember from the pre-game was that Fly had his kid in the morning.
So did he tell you guys?
Yeah. So a big congratulations to Fly and Gabs.
Its name's Maggie.
Maggie.
Was it actually?
Cool. You know what? I didn't even peep that.
Yeah, straight away I was like, is he named it after the magpies?
Sure. I'm not sure, but it would be fitting, wouldn't it? But yeah, his messaging was like, today, for him, it's like, this is obviously a massive moment in his footballing journey, but win or loss today, he's a winner because he's like, they've brought life into the world. So I remember that was like a pretty comforting message, like, because it's like there's more to this than just this game. Like, this is this huge moment, yes, but there's so much more in life than just this. And I feel like that took the bit of the pressure.
Everyone.
Yeah, it just takes a bit of perspective and kind of takes the pressure off you, and you can kind of just like, I remember from that moment I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna enjoy this. Like, how cool is this? So I think that was the main messaging that I remember that really resonated with me, was just around almost a bit of perspective stuff.
Isn't it crazy? Like, from when I was, used to think about Granny, like, no, this is different. It's something we've got to go harder for. Everything. It's like the total opposite. It's like, we've done it. We've just got to go in there and keep doing it. Yeah. Well,
we actually speak about saying, the saying, play the game, not the occasion. We've spoken about that all year because we played in some massive games. Anzac Day, the Big Freeze, our whole final series was 90,000 plus. So it's like, we play in these big games where you could easily get in your own head about, the occasion itself, or how many people are there, or what's on the line in regards to a ladder position, or and I think what we do really well is just go out there and like soak it up, enjoy it, and then just do what we do, and kind of we almost go into like autopilot. Crazy. What's like plans for you after the win? We saw a video of you like running 5 games, 5 days post. Granny, like, you obviously enjoy it, but it just shows that dogged mindset of like, you don't want to be here just for one flag. It's already thinking about what's next. Yeah, I feel like for me, like I'm 23, so I'm on the younger end, but like even speaking with Nick over the last week or so, like we're so hungry to just get another one. Like, is it addictive? Like, it is. Like, I don't know about some people, it might be, I'm not sure. I can't speak for everyone on the team, but for me, I'm like, man, I don't know how Pendleton still waited 13 years for another one of those bad boys. Like, it was one of the best days of my life, and it's probably been the best week of my life. And like we have such a special group. Like, to be able to do it with them is just unreal. But yeah, I in regards to the actual running itself, because a few of the boys were giving me a little, when people do stuff like that and they go like, "Oh, you being a hero," and so there's a few of those comments, but I actually couldn't care less. I that's just what makes me feel good, and especially when I'm drinking and probably not eating great. I like to have a bit of a balance and just get a bit of a sweat going and feel good about myself. And plus, I'm going to Bali, so I need that. Still need to make sure the rig's looking decent. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so there's a few reasons as to why I went. But
the fins.
Yeah, and shout out my housemate for because he's the one that shared it. People don't. If he doesn't share it, people don't. I got a bit of good press about it, so I was pretty happy.
Fantastic press.
So yeah, he played his role quite well.
That's some like very ultimate wingmanning.
Record me.
Ultimate wingmanning from him right there. It's so good.
Yeah, but yeah, I just enjoy going on the treadmill and having a run and listening to music, so that was why I did it.
Training is obviously, you can look at your physique and the way you play. It's obviously very important to you. Have you got anything planned for the off-season? Like anything you want to do? Like, are you working on anything different? Or
Yeah, so I think this pre-season I want to try and, because throughout the year I naturally just put on weight.
Yeah.
I just,
like muscle?
Muscle, I don't even know what it is half the time, because I only do one upper session a week throughout the week, so it's not like I'm like pumping out iron every day.
It's crazy.
But I'm blessed with good genetics, and it just kind of packs on. So like, I really want to try and trim down a couple of kilograms and get a bit leaner, and work on my running stuff, because I feel like my strength is always going to be there. I don't. I just feel like that's always going to be something that's.
Do you mean more because like we spoke about your running last time around, like you're that anaerobic type, like beep test.
Yeah.
That like you're incredible at that. So do you mean more endurance?
No,
or
I just want to take that
keep doing that?
Yeah, I want to take that to another level, because I feel like, I came back from last off season in pretty good condition and feeling really confident with that stuff, and I think I can do it again. And I've got a really good gym coach we're going to work through a little program.
At the Pies or outside of the club?
No, this is externally. Who actually, he worked with Josh, Nick and I last off season. So
who's that?
His name's Chris Povey. Yeah, so shout out Chris. He's my man.
That's awesome.
But he's an absolute guru and a weapon. And like, you look at the seasons that Nick and Josh had as well. Like, there's no coincidence. So if you need. But we'll see. I just want to come back feeling good. Feeling confident
and refreshed. I'm sure as well.
And refreshed. That's important. And I'm more aware these days of that balance. Like, I feel like, for me, like, probably over the next like 1 or 2 weeks, I probably won't be touching a footy too much. It's more so about just a bit of cardio and stuff, just make me feel good.
It's such a hard balance, though, isn't it? Because because you want to like improve, but you also want to have a break and not come back burnt out.
Yeah, well, that's what I feel like. A lot of the boys at the club do that really, really well. Yeah. Like, you look at Darcy Moore and, like, obviously the captain of the club, like the way that he's able to switch off and then switch back on is unbelievable. Like, he's one of the best at it and has so much going for himself outside of football, where he can just kind of flick a switch, which I think I really admire personally.
Isn't it crazy though to think like some clubs are already like going to be back at training while you're away?
It's crazy to me. Well, I remember Fly said something about, he spoke to Sam Mitchell and that had some of the young boys or something in already, before the grand final. I was like, that's just mental to me. Yeah. But we've been on that side of it.
But I don't think you do need, like, if your body's, I think you need more of a mental break than anything.
I completely agree. Well, our S&C coach, Jared Wade, he's an absolute weapon as well. And he's massive on just refreshing. Like, he gave us our program and he's basically like, the next 2-3 weeks, just do whatever you need to do to fill your cup with energy and feel refreshed.
Body-wise, we spoke about that. Business-wise, spoke about that. In terms of like recovery, mind, doing something different, do they speak a lot about like getting back to like nature, water, like green spaces around, getting into like, I'm probably getting a bit weird here, but like getting into forest, getting into ocean, eating like really natural foods. Do you look into any of that sort of stuff?
We don't like specifically look into it at the club, but like I feel like everyone's pretty aware of what they need to do to. Because like we spoke about last time, like I'm not going for a surf or something. Like,
you're not.
So it's like everyone has their own things that you know fill their cup, and I think,
you know, like last time we were chatting with like Cody,
he does
doing
really
breathing
cool
exercises and all those sorts of things. And I appreciate what you're saying. Like you got to work out what's best for you.
Correct.
But can I give you can a 41 game and give a premiership player something to think about?
I'm always open.
When you're in Bali, just like maybe one day try and like go into like a forest.
Yeah.
And just sit with the trees.
Vibe out.
See if you enjoy that.
There as well.
Yeah. Just see if you enjoy that.
Yeah. No,
and just
100%.
getting in like I loved, and I still do, for me, like so I was in Noosa recently.
Yeah.
I've come back, swimming every morning in the ocean. I was going for runs in. Yeah, you don't like the ocean, do you? You hate it. But this isn't like deep. I was just like literally in the shallow.
Yeah.
And I've come back feeling like nearly the best I've felt in like a long time. Just like getting like charged by the universe.
Something about
like
nature,
a battery.
100%. As we've spoken about, nature and me we're not the best.
I want you to try and heal that relationship this year.
I don't know what it is. I feel like it's been built in me since I was a kid. I don't know what the go is because. Yeah, I've got some issues with.
Did you nearly drown or something?
No, well, it's like it's not even that. Like even animals. Like I'm not really an animal guy either. Like, like I like dogs, but like I'm not like very good at like getting around. Like, you know what I mean? I never grow up with animals, so maybe that's part of it. But I agree. I need to mend that relationship. I'm not going to be swimming in the ocean.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love the beach. Like the beach is like my happy place. But I'm happy up to my waistline.
Yeah, I know. You're more of an ice bath guy.
I'm more of a sauna guy.
Oh, you're sauna.
I'm massive on saunas.
Infrareds. Hey, you should get a sauna, man. They're handing them out. Brands. If you're listening,
well,
let's get in touch as well.
Once I move out of my tiny little apartment because I got no space for one right now, but
we will.
I'd love to get if I had space, I'd definitely invest in one. I'd jump in it probably 5-6 times a week.
Unbelievable.
Love them.
Mate, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming in as always. You're a 3-timer now, man. You're
basically
part of the furniture here. We appreciate everything. So excited for next season. I hope you have a good off season. Appreciate the insights. Appreciate the stuff that we wouldn't have heard if you didn't come in. So thank you. Love you. Proud of you. Rap for you. And go and have a good break. Enjoy and get ready for a big 2024 and probably another flag.
That's a really good sign out. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.